Stratos gets a suit with comic roots. Here's your look at the new Mattel Master Universe Origins Stratos Winged Warrior. Powerful, agile, and a natural leader, the mighty Stratos battles evil all over Eternia. Before we check out this guy that takes to the sky, how about we first figure out how tall the comic appearance Stratos actually stands. He's supposed to be based on his original comic appearance, that's why his colors are slightly different than the original Stratos that we got from the Master Universe Origins. More on those comparisons in a second. But as promised, let's go ahead and bring the ruler in, put it right to the very top of his head, and the figure stands at around 6¼ inches in height, or about 16 centimeters tall. And as for those comparisons, let's bring in the original Master Universe Origins Stratos. So you can see that the figures are sharing the same bodies. All the molds that were used for the original Stratos get basically carried over here for the comic-themed Stratos. Let's bring a couple other figures here. Here he is next to Prince Adam. And we can also bring in the LOP Beastman that we just recently had a look at as well. There he is next to the LOP Merman. So again, they're pretty much using the same bodies for the most part. In the case, though, of Stratos, he's also using the same torso, at least the same hairy chest as both Beastmans, the regular Origins Beastman and the LOP Beastman, both of which we've also looked at here on this channel. Speaking of comics, though, I want to show you the sad state that this comic arrived in. Now, of course, as anybody that's been collecting the Master Universe Origins figures already know, these are carefully contained inside sort of a plastic tray, and then the figure sits in front of that. Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, though, it was too close for quarters, and even trying to remove it, I think there was even just a little bit of tape that was sitting on the side of the spine. And I took it out, and I did my best. I assure you, I promised, I did my best to try to remove the comic as carefully as I could. Actually, let's just move the instruction sheets as well. And it's got badly ripped. At least we are going to be looking at the entire wave during the next several reviews. So I'm hoping over the span of the next 3 videos, I'm going to come across at least a comic, The Challenge of Jitsu, by the way, that isn't going to be in such a bad state as the one that came included with Stratos. Anyways, though, flipping it through the pages here, I did buy these online, and I bought it from a US seller. Because of that, that translates to a comic that actually does have reading. I can actually find out what's going on here. If not for that, I would have had no idea why Jitsu's picking a fight with this, what seems almost to be a stone-like lion. The artwork is good in these. Although, again, I really wish, if Mattel is listening, please, can you allot for a little bit more space to hold the comic inside? I mean, I don't want to have to worry every single time I'm taking a comic out that I'm going to be doing this much damage to it. Although this is probably an extreme case, it usually is a difficult time to remove the comic. By the way, anyways, also advertised on the back, new for 22, even though I've already picked these ones up. There's Sorceress, at least Filmation-accurate color Sorceress, and based on the original 80s colors as well. There's also Buzz-Off, looking forward to having a look at him. Stratos, that we're looking at in this review, and Jitsu, the evil master of martial arts. Of course, there is also instruction sheets. I usually discard these before I start recording a review, but seeing as it was already contained inside the comic, it basically shows you all the things that are highlighted in gray as the things that are removable. You can remove the arms, you can remove the legs, you can remove the torso, and because it actually doesn't say the legs are gray, Simon says you can't remove the legs because they're not gray. You can remove the head, arms, torso, legs. Got it? I hope so. It's pretty straightforward. Anyways, we'll put that to the side. The figure did include one other thing for accessories. I've already taken the time and actually added them to the figure. He came included with his wings. Now, these wings simply just came in the packaging like this. And all I did was, I didn't drop it, but all I did was I clipped it onto the side of his arms, just on the wrist area right here. The original Stratos also had that as well. I mean, again, like when you're looking at the two figures, there's not much going to be different between the two. Although I have to say, I do like the more vibrant colors of the blue, not only on the wings that they used. I find also like the head sculpts between the two seem a little more vibrant. I'm almost even compelled to start plucking the things that I like about this Stratos and bringing it over maybe to this Stratos instead. I mean, again, like when you're looking at the head sculpts, let's hold on to these a little bit better so you can get a better look at seeing what they look like. Yeah, I don't know. I just find like the paint's a little bit more richer here on the new Stratos than the one that we got before. So it may involve me removing the wings. Although, again, the lighter color wings do work well for this Stratos. I think I might even end up finding myself taking the head sculpt off. although the coloring of the eyes will not match then the wings. Maybe I'll just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Don't let temptation creep in your doorstep. I'll just leave it. Just leave it as is. So the figure does have, like I said, the same head sculpt. It has the same torso piece that has the leaves on the top, and it has the same jetpack. I think like the jetpack actually looks a little bit better here on the new released Stratos. Again, the colors seem less marbled than the original one that we got before. The underoos, the furry loincloth down below, is a much darker blue as well. Instead of getting a red belt, we get ourselves a yellow belt. Instead of actually getting no painted bracelets, gauntlet bracelets, he actually gets yellows. So those are nice. At least we get a little bit extra color. The question really, when it comes down to this, and I'm sure probably the question that you guys are thinking the moment this review started is it even worth picking this figure up if we already have, say, this figure here? Well, again, the thing with this Stratos is he's based on his comic appearance. When he first made the mini comics, he looked like this. And of course, when he made it to then the Filmation cartoon, the colors were yanked. Well, this color scheme was yanked away instead, favoring something a little bit more darker to like this gray color here, which I think everybody now looks at this and thinks that's the way that Stratos should look. Maybe it's perhaps a little bit then jarring to see Stratos looking like he's just a bare-chested guy walking on the beach with a really hairy chest. That's basically what it looks like right here. I mean, again, like the bodies are exactly the same. I would hate to think that this Stratos, just as a resulting of people not recognizing the colors on this guy, end up being a peg warmer. He's actually a good-looking figure. I think I might even just consider not even just picking this figure up, but maybe picking him up a second time. And maybe I can have just a couple of minions behind Stratos. Even though, yeah, Stratos should have really had the same matching colors. I mean, he's of the same species. Might maybe see myself maybe picking up another one of these guys, just so I can actually have a couple of them on display behind Stratos. I'm not really that guy that would necessarily display them on the shelf and say, okay, this guy right here, specifically comic Stratos. So if you remember him from the first appearance, oh, you do. I'm glad we were friends. Yeah, he was from his first appearance in the comics. So what his color scheme is a little bit different color like this. I'm not going to be that guy. Instead, I think I might actually just pick up a second one of these and have them on display with my Stratos and just hope my friend doesn't say, well, wait a minute, shouldn't all the Stratos species have the same gray color scheme? And then I'll remember, yeah, maybe that's why we shouldn't have been friends in the first place. Anyways, though, looking at the figure's articulation, it is going to be the same, of course, as the regular Stratos. The head rotates all the way around on that ball joint. It looks up, it looks down, and it looks back and forth as well. The arms work exactly the same way as well, so you can bring those arms out, and you can take the arms and rotate them all the way around. He does have a swivel at the forearm, which also serves to be a hinge joint right there on the elbow, and he also rotates on hands all the way around. Waist swivel, standard waist swivel to be introduced on this figure, and the figure does have splits on the legs. Ball joints on either side of those legs, by the way. Legs go forward, legs go back, hinge on the knee, rotate the lower knee or lower leg below the knee. And you can also rotate the cut there, which normally would have served to be a place where they would put the boots. Right? Right there. Unfortunately, because he doesn't have boots, he's just flying around barefooted, apparently. They just put the cut right there anyway. So it's a little strange that you're literally just rotating his lower calf area all the way around. Again, the figure does have toe articulation too. So there's Stratos. Worth picking up, probably considered by many no. Still, though, if you do like the look of Stratos, the initial Stratos, put the two figures side by side, I feel like there's enough at least different from one to the other. Yes, I think at a time like this, you'd be looking at a character like Stratos and thinking to yourself, I just feel like Mattel they're doing as much as they can from the molds that they have. I mean, did we really need a first appearance comic Stratos? Probably not. But I do like the color scheme is a little bit different than the original Stratos. It's not just a case that they're changing up the head sculpt or just giving him slightly different wings. Like, we're getting a different color scheme altogether. And I guess really also something to consider too, being the fact that the parts are swappable in and out. You could also bring in, say, the likes of Prince Adam. And I don't know if you can see where I'm going to go with this. You can actually take then the head sculpt off Prince Adam off and put it on top of the comic Stratos, and you sort of have like a Savage He-Man working. A good way to customize the figure from existing parts that Mattel is already putting out. Yeah, I don't know. Comic appearance Stratos may be destined, if anything, to be used for a customized figure later on. I mean, I did mention at the end of this review that you could easily use the parts from a He-Man and turn Stratos here into Savage He-Man. I'd hate to think that that's the reason people are picking this guy up. But at least people would be picking him up, because I think the alternative is poor comic appearance Stratos will end up probably being a peg warmer. Sort of one of the problems that are facing some of these figures that aren't normally recognized instantly by He-Man fans, like the LOP Beastman. I mentioned in his review that he's probably going to be a peg warmer. LOP Merman, unfortunately, was also the same case. You can find LOP Mermans as far as the eye can see at the local Toys R Us. At least my local Toys R Us has a ton of LOP Merman. But again, maybe that's probably going to be the problem that's going to be facing some of these figures. Outside the realm of Filmation and outside the realm of looking at the characters and instantly recognizing them from the original 80s toy line, fans aren't probably going to be picking up all of these figures that Mattel put out. So, unfortunately, comic Stratos, while it's a good idea on paper to put out a figure the way he looks from the original mini comic series run, I don't know if everyone's going to be instantly wanting to pick up this version of Stratos. If anything, they might pick up this Stratos if they didn't get a chance to get the other Stratos, and this guy is sort of filling in the slot until eventually they can get themselves the original Stratos. I don't know. If you guys are collecting the Master Universe Origins figures, are you inclined to pick up comic appearance Stratos? Or is this guy going to be one like the LOP Beastman and the LOP Merman that you're going to see on the peg shelf, and you're basically just going to walk straight past? You're going to look over, say, that's not Stratos for me, and continue on your merry little way. Let me know down below in the comment section if this is a figure that you would be picking up. Today, again, we were having a look at the new Masters Universe Origins comic appearance Stratos. Perfect fodder, again, if you want to make yourself a Savage He-Man. But again, maybe pick up 2 of these, so at least you're not feeling like you're just picking him up just to start pillaging the parts. Yeah, we were looking at comic Stratos. If you guys are new to this channel, though, I hope you're enjoying the content, certainly, that you guys have been seeing. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, turn the bell notification on, and keep your peepers peeled, because we are going to be looking at the rest of this wave of the Masters of the Universe Origins line coming your way in the not-so-distant future. As always, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.